Sea of Thieves is a game where you plunder islands in search of gold. You can also be civilized by doing quests for the merchant, but we don't do that around here. The epic treasure you find along your adventure can be returned and sold at any outpost. Outposts are located all around the grand map of Sea of Thieves. Your quest is to find and steal as much treasure as you can possibly fit onto your ship. But the terrors and challenges that thou shalt meet are way greater than imagined. So, what are you waiting for? Well, I'm waiting for my dinner to be... Oh, right on time. So, let's set sail for some awesome adventures on the open seas of the Sea of Thieves. My adventure starts with me picking a voyage. I choose the gold hoarder because I want some good treasure to start off with. To prepare for my upcoming voyage, I check for the closest island with treasure marked by the red cross. In this case, an island named Lone Cove. Lone Cove is located right beside Sanctuary's outpost, which I'm currently on. I prepare the boat by raising the anchor and lowering the sail. After that, we set sail for Lone Cove, our first island and voyage towards becoming a successful pirate. When I arrived at Lone Cove, I saw something odd. What the? Random rowboats floating in the water is usually an indication of another pirate's whereabouts. But there was no ships around, so they must have left already. After docking the rowboats onto my ship, I set foot on the island and searched for the treasure. But suddenly, grave danger emerged from the golden sands of Lone Cove, so I had to use my precise aim and well-trained swordsmanship to take them on. But I made quick work of them and moved on to what seemed like an interesting NPC standing along the shores. But she just gave away useless information. I carried on and explored the island further. One thing that makes Sea of Thieves good is how detailed every single island is. But with my orientation skills, I quickly found the location the red cross marked. I decided that this was the spot and dug around. Yes, it ended up not being the best possible treasure, but it could still be sold for a decent amount. I carried the chest back to the boat and researched where our next destination would be. Cannon Cove was our next and final destination for the first chapter of the voyage. I marked the island and set sail. As we approached Cannon Cove, I saw the enemy ship had parked at a nearby outpost. I wasn't worried because as long as they weren't of pirate legend status, I could easily sink them. The problem was that I had no way of knowing how good they were at fighting. So, just in case, I prepared my ammo and shootables for battle. The ship wasn't moving, which meant I could use this opportunity to board the island. I also hard anchored a bit away from the island in case they wanted to approach me whilst I was on the island. I used a technique called sword lunge to get to the island. Sword lunge basically throws a player forward a bit. It's commonly used in battle, but can be used to travel short distances in water. We've already done this once now, but this time there's 3 red marks. So it would take longer than last time, especially now that it was really dark outside. But that isn't such a big problem when you have a lantern such as this. I quickly found the first chest, which was pretty good. I started searching for the second one, but for some reason I could not find it for the life of me. When dawn approached, I finally discovered a landmark that corresponded to my map, so I knew where to dig. And, as a surprise, a second captain's chest was revealed. Now that it had almost become daytime, I carried the chest back to the dock where I could later use a technique to move the chest onto my boat. Then I remembered, I had totally forgot about the ship on the outpost. But as you may not have noticed, that right there was a pirate legend flag, which meant they would actually know how to fight. That really put me on my toes as I continued to venture the island. On the way to the next marked location, I made myself a snack to cook later. Even though it was daylight now, I still couldn't find the next treasure. But eventually I figured it out where it was. Chapter 2 began right after the treasure was dug up, which gave me... I was apparently under attack by some crabs. Huh? I haven't encountered one of these at all, so I had no idea how to counter them. Except, of course, the old traditional way of shooting metal balls. Now is the time to show you how to easily get treasure onto your boat. As easy as if I could not fail. Basically all you need is to harpoon the treasure onto your vessel. Now that chapter 2 had begun, we should set sail to Sailor's Bounty, which is located in the top left corner of the map. Oh, and did I tell you what happens when you ignore the borders and try to leave the map? Well, bad things happen. Very bad things. Oh, and speaking of bad things, a skull fort was currently active. Skull Forts is a great challenge which gives an astonishing reward if thou can complete it. The Skull Forts aren't easy to complete. For a well-trained crew, you would at least need 3 people to even come close to succeeding. But let's not get distracted by that right now. We arrived at Sailor's Bounty, which was our last destination on the voyage. Before I stepped upon the island, I cooked the raw pork, because maybe it would come in handy later. Some delicious pork. Nice. When I stepped upon the land, I noticed something menacing. I jumped onto the quest of finding all 8 red crosses that was spread across the island. Oh, and I also found this bottle. But these ghosts saw this as a violation and started attacking me. They weren't so tough, but they certainly were annoying. I knew it would take a while, but this took ages. Finding all the chests took a while, and as you can see, they were actually good. I think it's mostly because of my luck. Finally, when all the treasure was dug up and put ashore, I boarded my ship and prepared for my journey towards the nearest outpost. Before that, I took my time to harpoon and organize my current treasure. But that didn't go so well. I repaired my boat and started heading to Sanctuary's outpost. When I arrived at Sanctuary's outpost, it was time to cash in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was not a whole lot of money. I got sad by how little I got. So I started fishing to calm my depression down. But even that was not meant for me. But this was not the day to be mourning. What do you do when you're at the bottom? Well, you rise to the top. If I wanted money, I have to go for something big. So, I decided that I needed a challenge. A challenge so difficult that it's recognized as impossible. The impossible challenge was going to take everything from me to succeed. But in the end, I was going to be a successful pirate. I was going to test my skills as a Sea of Thieves player by taking over a fortress of the sea. The reason fortresses are such a valuable source for treasure is the type of treasure, not the quantity. As people say, quality over quantity. The treasure that's hidden in a fortress is special. It's ghost-like. That kind of treasure can only be found in some places, and the fortress is one of them. Enough talk, let's get to work. The fortress was currently under surveillance by a galleon skeleton ship, which is a really dangerous obstacle if you're running solo. Therefore, I had to gather resources at the outpost if I wanted to come out of there alive. Supplying the ship is very important if you want to perform well on dangerous missions. Right after I've taken enough resources from the outpost, I prepare myself for what's to come. That includes making the ship a makeover, aka giving it skins.
Nice.
But before we take off, I found these rockets, and they're pretty new to me, so I wanted to see what's up. It's a bit early to celebrate New Year's, but come on, you can't see these and not get intrigued. Wow, that was cool and all, but now the whole map knows our location and is on their way to fucking. I prepared the boat for one last trip. I raised the sail and ready the helm. And then I'm on my way to defeat a fortress of the sea. When I was closing in on the fort, they noticed my presence and started firing cannonballs at me. Their aim was something else though.
What the hell? What the hell?
With no trouble at all, I parked my boat conveniently so that I could easily get onto the fortress. Though I was worried about something. The galleon skeleton ship I saw earlier was nowhere to be seen, which meant it could either emerge from the waters at any second or has already sailed off. I was quickly greeted by a ghost marauder. And then some more. And within seconds, I knew what it was time for. Now that the sea fort captain had been slain, I could explore the forts a bit further, which include finding a use for this key. I remembered that there was a door at the roof, but the key was supposedly not for this lock. But for what lock then? I continued searching the fort until I saw that there was a basement. Down in the basement was a cell with some demonic type ritual. On the left of the cellar was a door, which the key could unlock. In there was a bunch of treasure, but most importantly, the treasure of the damned. The ghost-like treasure is worth more than the ordinary treasure, which makes them the priority to steal. As a bonus, there were piles of gold on the floor, which why not take? I retrieved the chests and skull onto my boat. Oh, and remember that the skeleton ship was missing? Well, they were just chilling on a nearby island.
Okay, I'll pull up.
In the fort, I also found some full bounty skulls laying here and there, hiding in places. But those aren't worth a whole lot, so I didn't take them. Oh yeah, and this door had still not opened. I wanted the content it had stored inside, so I had to come up with something. I didn't have any reasonable ideas, but I did have an idea. Now, if this door hadn't opened by that, I don't know what... Excuse me? What the fuck? Even if the game was rigged, I could still enjoy the hefty view from up here. I think it's about time we leave this place. Now that we had conquered the fort, we were on our way to the ancient spire outpost to sell our magnificent loot.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Well, that didn't go as planned. Now that we had arrived at the outpost, it's time to cash in. But for real this time. Only one more thing to do. It's time, my friend.
No, don't do it!
We have to say goodbye.
Want to listen to some tunes?
What the fuck? Where are you going?
Sayonara, Nick!
And there he goes. In the end, money and gold isn't everything. It's the journey and the enjoyment that counts. As long as you find the fun in life, you will succeed. And, as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Sea of Thieves, we sailing with the team. We're headed up north as far as the